discussion is on the topic, Saving the American Dream. That's the name that the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank, has given to their plan for correcting some difficult, very difficult problems that America is facing. It's their plan to fix the debt, which now stands at around $14 trillion, that's with a T, $14 trillion. Cut spending, which our government can't seem to do on its own, and to restore prosperity to our country. Now, all you have to do is look around at the unemployment rate and other things and see that we really do need to restore prosperity to our country. We're doing this so the country won't go bankrupt, and neither will its individual citizens. And so I begin this evening, as does the foreword to the Saving the American Dream plan by the Heritage Foundation. It's a 53-page document, and it's available on the internet. All you have to do is go to Heritage Foundation or heritage.org and search for the Saving the American Dream plan. And you can read it all yourself. It's really not that hard to read. I've read most of it. They begin by saying, we have come to a time of decision. And that's because America, to a great extent, is broken and broke. As some recent crises have suggested, we cannot continue down the current course. Our federal legislature, the Senate and House of Representatives in Washington, has not enacted a budget in 3 years. We keep bumping against the legislated maximum for our national debt. And our debt is quickly reaching the amount of gross domestic product. In case you're unfamiliar with that term, the gross domestic product is the value of all goods and services produced in 1 year by all citizens in the United States. This is not a good thing. If you've been following the news, you can see what happens when a nation gets accustomed to being taken care of by the national government, and then the government runs out of money. Of course, the nation I'm talking about is Greece. There have been riots in Greece, and some other countries that are in similar situations. Now, just by the way, my daughter, whom I spoke to this afternoon, is in Greece right now. Makes me a little nervous. She's on a semester abroad study there right now. Is this what we want in our country? Do we want our country to degenerate to the point that we're having riots because people are unhappy with the way the government is or is not taking care of us? The Heritage Foundation and others have suggested 3 ways to deal with our problems. Here's choice number 1. Choice number 1 is to cross our fingers and hope for the best. Now, does that work for you in real life? It's not going to work for our country either. I think this solution is laughable. Not laudable, but laughable. Our national debt at $14 trillion, divided by the national population, about 300 million, is the amount that each man, woman, and child owes. And it's about $47,000. That's how much each person owes toward our national debt in this country. It's not going to go away. It's a tax lien on our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. It almost makes me cry to think about my 3-month-old grandson, little Cole. And the debt is just piling up and piling up and piling up for him. If we don't start taking care of it now, we're going to have big problems in the future. Now, in choosing this route of crossing your fingers, one way the government could decide to solve the problem is just by printing money. Oh, we need to do more of this in the government? Well, we'll just print more money. But But you know what that leads to? That leads to inflation, the devaluation of our dollars. And it'll just take more and more money to pay for those goods and services that we desire. This is no choice at all. Choice number 2, raise taxes. Let's just keep spending the way we are and raise taxes. The problem is, it would require raising taxes to an unconscionable level. They would double by the year 2050. And they would be 2.5 times their current rate in the next 70 years. And so the average American now, who pays around 25% in federal taxes, would be paying 47% and then 63%. You think taxes are bad now? The wealthy, that is, if there are any wealthy in 50 years, would pay a whopping 88% in taxes. Where's the incentive to work? This is obviously no solution. And so the Heritage Foundation goes for choice number 3, reduce spending and the size of government in order to restore government to its proper function. Here are the major tenets of the plan. Balance the budget within a decade. Not overnight, but within a decade. And keep it balanced at about 18.5% of gross domestic product. That's reasonable. Meaning about 1/5 of all that we produce then would go toward funding the government. Reduce the debt to, which is currently over 90%, reduce it to 30% within 25 years. Again, not overnight, but within 30 years. You know, if you pile up debt, you can't erase it overnight. It takes a little while, and that's what they're doing too. It cuts the size of government by half within 25 years. It replaces a complex and unfair tax code with a completely new system. It protects America and its interests with full funding for national defense. In other words, they're not gutting defense. It eliminates Obamacare, which is highly disliked, and replaces it with a health system that's affordable. It redesigns Social Security and Medicare as sustainable programs rather than unsustainable like they are now. And it provides powerful incentives for saving and investing. And so now tonight, in the following speeches, you're going to hear more detail about some aspects of this plan. Don't forget that we're going to have Q&A after our regular meeting for those who want to stay, and so you might jot down some questions you have. I've been impressed with this plan to save the American dream, and I wanted others to hear about it, and thus I've organized this distinguished panel. I hope you're impressed with it too. Perhaps you'll want to investigate more. Tell others about